inquire if Mr. Christian doing something. She knows she got to meet.
Wonder who's on hold.
Hey,
Silent prayer. Turn to the flag for our pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Huddleston,
Present.
Trustee Triplett, Trustee Standback,
here.
Trustee Irvine, Trustee Walker, Trustee Wilkerson, here. Trustee Walker, Trustee Jefferson.
Here. Quorum established. All in favor? All opposed? Quorum established. And we're going on to our guest speaker. And that'll be Mr. Norris. Mr. Norris, you Doing good.
Is it okay? Okay, first I want to thank you, council, for allowing me this opportunity to speak to your residents. And first thing I'd like to make clear is that I'm not here to run anything, and I'm not here to sell anything, nothing, zero. Knowledge is free for those who will accept it. And that's all I'm here to do, is to deliver some knowledge. And I don't know how much time I was given this, but there's something that is very important that I do take the time to read, and I read it at Alton City Council. And really it was a 5-page document that was signed by our legislators. These are not my words that you're going to hear. I did not sign this document. It was signed by both the Senate and the House out of the capital, Springfield, Illinois. And it reads as this: whereas access to employment, economic investments, economic mobility, and training opportunities are unequal across Illinois, with minorities, low-income, environmental justice, and rural communities having less access to these opportunities. And whereas clean energy technology presents new economic opportunities, and the Future Energy Job Act creates the Illinois Solar for All programs to train residents across Illinois, including persons with criminal records and foster care alums, for jobs in clean energy and a clean economy. And whereas the Illinois State Commission Criminal Justice and Sentencing Reform seeks to reduce the state's current prison population by 25% by the year 2025, and whereas the commission found that half of the persons with criminal records currently in the Illinois will likely re-enter prison within 3 years of release, and whereas the Urban Justice Policy Center found in the studies of Illinois that only 31% of those released from the prisons were employed within 2 months. Now, this is just a 5-page, and I really want to say that you get the gist of what it says here, just by the opening statement. for those who do not have access to these opportunities. And mainly it was mentioned rural communities. That was mentioned in the document. And again, I'd like to hand this a copy because it is a 5-page document, and I just want to read some other things in here. And I will have some extra copies, but I'm sure that your council can, provide anyone a copy, and it's going to be on my website this afternoon. I mean tomorrow, if you want to go out and download a copy. I hope that you caught the phrase when I said the Solar for All program. For all, to include rural communities. But rural communities have a situation that they did not create. And that is belonging to, what would you call it, rural co-ops. That is not their creation, but that is a service that they provide for them, and they do contribute a lot to any community that they're in. But this is about providing clean energy. If I go on, and it talks about how African American people, when it comes to health problems, asthma, cancer, diabetes, this document, I'm paraphrasing, but this document says that ethnic group alone has shouldered the burden of all those health issues. Does it mean that white people have been excluded? No, it does not mean that they have been excluded. But who has been damaged the most is what's written in this document. And again, I reinforce, I did not write this. So when you look at your own government or your legislators or your politicians wrote it, now just because words are on paper, it doesn't mean that it's going to be enforced. Doesn't mean that. But fast forward into the Solar for All program. If I stood up here and told you about the Solar for All program, that's a 2-hour session that is going on around the state of Illinois, letting communities specifically communities of color know what solar opportunities are there when it comes to renewable energy. Now, there are several programs out there. The one that speaks to the communities of color is the Solar for All program. This right here is an act that was passed December the 7th, 2016. Here it is, 2019. And some communities are just not getting the word. That's almost like the Proclamation of Emancipation, isn't it? Everybody didn't get the word. I mean, some humor, but it's true, isn't it? Everybody did not get the word. I'm sorry, but you're busting me up. This is not a planned speech. It's just a truthful speech, okay? And it's not to intimidate or degrade anyone. Again, it's just the truth. So, and I'm glad that we can find some humor in some destructive measures, right? Yes. And no, I'm not a pastor. No, I'm not. But I am a servant leader. Not a community leader. A servant leader. Okay? So, back to the Solar for All program, if you would. And the rural co-ops. There are many communities are tied to co-ops, and the Solar for All program, this act, came out of this act. And it was passed, again, December 16, 2016. This is called the Future Energy Job Act. And this is what got it done. People who sat down and wrote this data and said, the majority of people who go to prison are black males. They wrote all this in here, and they should be able to write it. They have the data to validate it. But it's good to have a documentation, even the Almighty say, I love a good report. This is a good report of what's been going on, okay? And some of it by people who orchestrated it, okay? Now, back to the Solar for All program and the rural community co-ops is that I said that it would take 2 hours to do a session that people throughout the state of Illinois are going around and conducting these sessions. I do too. I've been to Carbon, and I've been to Marion, I've been to Springfield. It's going on all in Chicago. However, a lot of people are not willing to extend themselves and go out there and find those who need the information the most. People are turning in reports of activities, but they're not good reports. They're conducting sessions with people who have knowledge of what's going on, but they're able to say, I did my job because they did a session. But if people were to look at the names of the people who are on the list in all age, ethnic group, and knowledge, they will find that you've done nothing with what you were supposed to do. But when you can go to a rural community or connect with someone like Miss Lena and find out, hey, Royal Lakes. And it didn't take me that long when she identified Royal Lakes because I was sent to Texas to study what's going on with the rural electric co-ops and things that needs to happen in these rural communities so that everybody will have access to these opportunities. And this is not no fly by night, and you heard even reducing the population in prison, say about 2050, 2025, I think it was? 2025. This is gonna take time. This is a transition, if you can remember what happened when technology came out, when the computers came out. The difference in this and the computers is that they had no ability to incorporate communities of colors and black people until the games came out. When the games came out, you got an AOL disc and get online and play the game. This is a little bit different. They're saying you're in here, but now it's up to you to get the knowledge you need to engage in the opportunities that are out there for this program. I am willing to come back here and do a 2-hour session alone on what the Solar for All program involves. When this bill was passed, it did not have enough teeth, to say, will you get done what needs to be done from this bill? So this act was called FEJA, Future Energy Job Act. And this information is all online if you look it up. So there was not enough to support this, so then they came out with a new bill that is in the writings called CEJA, which is the Clean Energy Job Act. That act needs to be passed. Now, I'm not here to, once again, say what is better than this or that. That's not my point. It's knowledge. There are other bills out there. But the one that I will stand on is the one that specifically, not the one where people say, we're going to do this for you. When I cannot make your words support what you're saying. And even I said when it's on paper, that does not mean it's going to get done. Someone still can say when a law is written and it's on paper, you have a law enforcer out there that says it may be written, but now I'm going to enforce it. Well, you become the enforcer of what they wrote. You do. But if you don't act on what they wrote, what do they say? You snooze, you lose. You're written in this. You're written in the 536 pages of both FEJA, the Future Energy Job Act, and 600 and some documentations when it comes to CEJA, the Clean Energy Job Act, when it talks about we're going to put training in communities of color. The solar program must engage black and brown people when it comes to renewable energy. Now, I said community of colors. Now I'm going to boil it down to a specific when it comes to the rural community co-ops. We are just now beginning to write that section that refers to the rural community co-ops, and I want to explain to you why. It's because you all come up under a different set of laws when it comes to your co-op. You do not come up under the regular electrical laws up under the Illinois Power Association as relates to other communities. You have a contract with most likely a nonprofit or a privately owned business that are up under a complete set of rules. However, they're saying if we're going to make this transition and it's going to be for all when it comes to health, not only do you have to change, the system has to change, your co-op has to change. Now, who's going to give calls for that to happen? People with knowledge that understand that change needs to take place. That's where it begins. Knowledge. To know something is not to say you have knowledge of it. That's why I'm willing to come back and do the session. You know about it right now. I would love to come back and give you that 2-hour session so that you have knowledge of what I'm talking about when it comes to the Solar Ball project. And remember, that's mainly for the community of color. But we're starting to write again what is going to refer to or represent the rural community when it comes to those who have the electrical co-ops in their community. That is just now being designed. What I am really here to say is that why wait to some knowledge that you need? You need to know about the Solar for All that's there. What if you went into a community from rural to a community, a municipality or metropolitan area, whereas they're doing the program. If you get the knowledge now when you make that transition, then you're leaving with knowledge. You're ahead of knowledge. However, if you're in a rural community, you need to find out what is it that we could do, what regulations support us taking action, or what regulations support us going to a rural electric co-op meeting and requesting, not demanding anything, or giving your reasons why that co-op should consider making the transition to clean energy. It doesn't take anything to go out there and maybe find some health data that says how long has this rural lake been established and how many people have died from cancer or diabetes or how many people have asthma. That data is out there. My question to you right now about me is, am I making sense and am I communicating okay?
Yes. Doing good.
Thank you. And that was a pure check on me, that I'm getting the points across. In that, people are going around the state showing people how they need to energize their house and become energy efficiency. That's the basic that anyone should be doing in the country, making their house energy efficiency. However, if you stop at energy efficiency, and remember I said if you don't learn about solar for all, you won't have the knowledge if you were to move from a rural community to a metropolitan area, that if you stayed at energy efficiency and you weatherize your house and you got the cracks and put crack sealed and new windows put in and new a heating furnace, that if you stayed there by 2025, you'll be at the high bill again because solar is going to be the new energy efficiency. Are you with what I just said? If you do energy efficiency right now, you're on top of the game, right? But if you stay there, oh no, we right back in the situation. They told me, no, you didn't keep up with the time. So do not let someone come into your community. I am saying this, do not let someone come into your community and sell you only energy efficiency. You need to have that other knowledge. You need to have that other knowledge. Again, anyone who wants me to come back and elaborate more on this so as not to take up the council's full time is that I am willing and I'm able, and mainly willing, or is it I am able and I'm willing so long as God allows me to wake up in the morning. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am. Make one more statement after that. Is that I serve on the EPA Board of Commissioners, and I represent communities in that as well. And those are not paid positions, people, but they're not. But again, I'm not selling anything, and I'm not here to buy anything, and I'm not here to make anybody pay for anything or encourage anybody to pay for anything. It's all free. I go into communities and I find out things that need to be done, and the EPA says they're going to do it or it needs to be done. I go to that meeting, I have that knowledge, and if need be, I stand on the table and jump up and down and act like a man, just to represent the community. Sometimes you have to say, well, and then you're not speaking their language, so you got to find out how do I need to communicate with you that these things are important and significant. And Lena have made me aware of some things, and I called the Environmental Justice Director on. He said, we're working on that. And I go up next week to have a meeting with him. But I wanted to get with her or your mayor and say, what is it that I can help? When I say help is that I don't represent Royal Lakes.
Right.
But if I go to your mayor and he says, well, this is what you could, support, and what he says, the community says or agree that needs to be done, then I have some tools to work with, knowing that I'm representing in the right way.
Right.
Thank you.
Question.
Thank you.
Question. My question? Yeah. I just want to know, you will be in communication with the mayor to set up this specific time to come in?
I would say that is my preference.
Okay.
And the reason I say the mayor is because normally when I go into any community, when I moved to Alton in 1995, the first thing I did was went to the man's name was Don Sandage, and I went to his office. I said, my name is Gregory Norris. I retired from the Marine Corps, and this is what I'm going to be doing in your community. So you can tell your police officer when they see me out there.
Leave me alone.
I mean, when I was stopped in the community, I was stopped in Alton because I was touring the area, and just like in the Marine Corps, if I go into a battlefield, I have to survey the area. The police asked me, he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm surveying. He said, you doing what? Surveying? Now he thought I was casing the rock. I said surveying. Yes, I wanted to know what the area looked like. That was in 1995. I had to know what type of area I was in.
Right.
But he just saw me looking and driving around slowly and looking at the projects areas. I wanted to know what the situation was. Before you can come up with any solution, you need to know what the situation is, because I like to get to the root cause. A lot of times we often try to solve problems, and problems are continuous. You put a Band-Aid on it, it's fixed for a little while, but it never goes away. If you accept the situation and you try to get to the root cause of it, you may not be able to kill it, but you will stop it from growing.
That's right.
Where's your physical office at? Where you actually
My office is in Alton, on 1001 Brown Street. And the new mayor, he helped get me an office because of the things that I do in the community.
Did you have any business cards?
Ma'am, I'm quite sure I have some in the car for you. Did not bring them in. But getting back to your mayor, I'm saying that especially in a rural areas such as this, I would prefer to work through your mayor, because when we do these listen, leads, and share sessions, we ask that the mayor be the host. You know, of any city, we ask that mayor be the host, and that be someone that says, I'm helping to bring this knowledge to the community, and ensuring that his or her community, whoever that mayor is, knows what they need to know to consider what input they want to provide when it comes to growth and community development.
Proper protocol.
So, thank you, ma'am. United States Marine Corps, we believe in structure and order.
Military teach you that.
So that's right. That's right. So that's why I would like to go through your mayor. No, it's not a requirement, but it's the appropriate thing to do.
Exactly.
Any other questions? I would love to give it to you, Mayor, through you, through Lena or representative, if you want directly to
You're more
try
than
to.
welcome to come into the office anytime you want.
Okay, and coordinate a flyer, maybe something that could go out to say, if you want to host that 2-hour
However
session.
way you want to do, we can make a flyer up when we do the 2-hour session. Then we'll make some flyers and we'll pass them out. How that sound?
Great for me. Like I say, all I gotta do is wake up in the morning and it's all.
That's right. All good.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Nobody else have any other questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.
Alright, we're moving on down again. Y'all, the trustees got anything? Y'all got anything, the trustees? Y'all got any comment?
About this?
You ready to comment?
We need to get this, porta potty ordinance passed. Read it. I'm just gonna read it.
Just read it.
It says, State of Illinois, County of Macoupin, Village of Royal Lakes, an ordinance regulating the use of porta potties, portable toilets, parentheses, porta potties. Whereas the need for the regulation of portable toilets, also known as porta potties, is necessary in the Village of Royal Lakes. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Royal Lakes as follows. Temporary toilets, which are the porta potties, shall only be allowed to be used on a temporary basis as follows. Porta potties may be used for family functions and special events not to exceed 90 days per year for any parcel located within the village limits. Number 2, porta potties may be used as part of a construction project for which the owner has a valid building permit, and as long as the building permit remains valid and in effect. So I believe, all the trustees has gotten a chance to read over it. I'll make a motion to pass this porta potty ordinance.
I second.
Can I do a point of order, please? That ordinance is not on the agenda to be passed.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. The agenda item said an ordinance needs to be made for the amount of time porta potty can be used faster. It doesn't say you're going to vote on passing an ordinance for the amount of time porta potty can be used. Thank you.
We ain't open to the floor yet.
No, we're not. Well, we made an ordinance.
You made the ordinance and you know they.
Yeah, our lawyer has looked over it and everything, so. Okay.
Yes, what's the date?
She made
The
that.
7th. It has to be the
Yeah.
7th day of October. Okay, sign that.
All right, all in favor?
Ah,
All opposed? Motion carried.
the next, order is. Okay, I would like to make a motion to pay the bills.
I have no idea. Second motion. Okay. Yes, okay, let me write that. Yes, I do have a couple of things, Marissa.
Wait a minute, we
Oh.
ain't voted on the paying the bills.
Okay, yeah.
I made the motion, he seconds.
He put it in first.
Oh,
So he had Ms. Clerk finish second.
well,
Okay, I do have a couple of things that I had looked at. We had some, at our last meeting, we had some concerns. We had a couple of concerns about the mold in the gym next door. And I made a couple calls. I made a call to the health department in Carlinville, and he recommended a couple places that did mold removal. He gave me a couple names of companies. One was Jim Barnes. He's out of Springfield. Jim Barnes takes samples, and he told me there are like only 60 molds that are really dangerous for his health. And what he does is he comes out and he tests this to see what kind of mold you have. And he charges $2,500 to come out and take tests. Wait just a minute. Is this just recording my voice?
and
That's
first of
recording
all,
video.
Is this? I do not want to be recorded.
That don't matter.
did you ask?
Wait,
did you-
wait.
Oh, no.
Can you wait just a minute? What did
Yes,
you say?
ma'am.
I said it doesn't matter, I'm recording anyway. If you don't like it, call 911 and tell them to come out here and arrest me.
Okay.
Dollar, no.
Somebody dial 911.
Yeah, call 911.
You can record. He can
voices.
record if I don't want to be
You have to
recorded.
ask.
It's a public meeting.
We already
It's in the
you can record voices, but taping, you have to have permission, cause we have the right to say we do not want to be on camera.
Can I say something, please?
Check.
It's in the Open Meetings Act. any person has the right to record by
Yes,
audio, video,
that's
or
gotta
other
know
means.
the laws on it.
It's an exception to the eavesdropping law, I don't have to tell you recording if it's an open meeting.
And where is this,
You do
located?
have to
Well,
tell
wait
us
just a
you're
minute,
recording.
because I'm new. So if you can show this to me, I don't have no problem with it. If you can show me where this is at,
The Open Meetings Act,
Open Meetings Act, okay.
And I can bring it up, I got it somewhere too.
and I can't get very good internet out here, or I would. And if you look at in the criminal code for eavesdropping, the exception for me having to inform you I'm recording, but it's obvious I am, is open public meetings. Nobody, I don't have to tell anybody, I can stick something in my pocket and record it.
With whoever's talking, could you please be quiet? Because like I said, I'm new, and if, I'm just trying to hear what he's saying, because if he's telling the truth, I just wanna know. So if whoever's talking, could you please let me hear what he's saying?
It's the Open
Okay,
Meetings Act,
Open Meetings Act, and the eavesdropping,
and then the eavesdropping, the criminal code for eavesdropping
criminal code,
has an exception for recording open public meetings.
okay,
Meaning if you record an open public meeting, it's not a violation of the criminal code.
okay.
The Open Meetings Act mandates that any person can record audio, video, tape, or otherwise an open public meeting, which is what this is.
Okay, well, like I said, I did not know that, like I said, I'm new up
And I
here,
apologize for,
the way you said it, yes,
The way I
because that
said
was
it.
not very, that was not very
I
professional.
know.
Yeah.
Who are you representing? Who are you representing? The Carmichaels and the Sanders? Who are you
No, I
representing?
represent the Edgar County Watchdogs.
Thanks for
That's
putting
in the-
my name in there.
Huh?
The watchdog.
You
The watchdog.
Yeah, I know they call the watchdogs out of Paris, Illinois.
And we work all over the state, we work in Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Connecticut.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
And
well, first of all, we haven't heard nothing about y'all till this little water issue was going on with Mr. Carmichael here, so then all of a sudden y'all pop up.
That's why we pop up, is because people have issues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like I said, I don't have a problem with it, I just had not heard that you could do that, and I will look it up. And, right, but the way you said, the way you talked to me was not professional.
I know,
At all.
and I
Yes.
apologize.
Okay, I accept your apology,
Okay.
and I will continue
And
with
that
what I was saying.
OMA thing we take online, that tests and stuff,
Yes.
it does say that you have to let us know that you're gonna record.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Okay, well, I'm not.
Yes, it did
Okay.
say
Yes,
that.
it does.
Yes, it does say that.
Yes, it does.
Okay, okay, well,
I know what I read.
I didn't mean to get anything going, but that, I don't even
But
like,
that's fine.
I don't even like to
Go
take
ahead, go ahead
pictures.
and finish what you-
Okay, let's get back to the
I
order.
don't even like to take pictures, so back to what I was saying. I talked to Mr. Barnes, and he was charging $2,500 to come out and take samples.
For the mold.
For the mold, yes, and, this only included the samples. This did not included him getting rid of nothing. He
Right.
was just coming out taking samples. And then once we got whoever we wanted to get rid of the mold, then he was gonna tell them what kind of mold we had, and we'd have to pay them. So, we moved on to someone else.
Okay.
And we moved on to a company in Woodburn, and they will charge us $249 to come out and check for the mold. And I told them that we had, the mold had kind of been washed down. A couple of people had washed the mold down with bleach. And the reason we did this because a few of us had went in the building. And once we got in there, we just started itching. And you get this itchy feeling when you get in the building, so we knew the building
Something was
cannot
going
be
on.
used.
Right.
It cannot be used. So we, like I said, I made the call to the health department, and he recommended these people. So we were going to try to have the guy in Woodburn come out for the $249. I have called them. They're going to get back with me. They need 50% down, which the mayor said, that's no problem. But anyway, once they do that, we can kind of go on from there and see how, what needs to be done. He can tell us what needs to be done. probably can tell us how much it's gonna cost, not saying that we could get that done right away, but at least we will know, what we need to do, to maybe control it. It might even, it can't, be too far, it might be too far gone. And they said also, sometime going in there with bleach, it makes it even worse, so I'm just putting that out there. And also, I talked to the
Now, what is he supposed to do? Come out and take samples too?
he's gonna come out and see what kind of mold it is also, but it's not gonna cost us but $249 for him to come out and look
Just
at
let
it.
us know why.
Right, and if we decide to go with his company, he's gonna deduct that $249 from his bill, if we
Okay.
decide to go with him. I also checked with the conservation, person. He said he came out here a couple of years ago and talked to whoever was mayor several years ago. He talked to him. He said, and he told him at the time, there was no funding for this program of dredging the lakes. But he was telling them what needed to be done, and there was no follow-up on it. So he said he would come out and talk to the current mayor, talk to the village, and I asked him if he could come to our next meeting in November. He's not got back with me yet, but he said he had no problem coming out. But at the time, he said, right now, there really is no funding for that. But maybe by the time spring comes, we don't know. There might be funding for it again, So he can come out and talk to him. But the main thing is keeping in touch with these people. You want people to do something for you. You gotta, you know what my grandmother used to say, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. You gotta keep squeaking sometime. You gotta keep going back and pestering people sometime. It's like if you want a job, you gotta be up in them people's face all the time, like you want a job. So, if he comes out and talks to us, we just gotta keep on it, keep at it, until they get sick of us. And let them know that we want somebody to do something.
I don't know.
So if he does get a chance to come back and talk to us in November, I'm gonna put bulletins out and let the community know that he will be able to come out and talk to us. And if anybody has questions, we can, ask questions. And at the present time, that is all I have.
Thank you, Clerk.
Nice. You got anything, sis?
No, what I got to say, No, I don't.
Now we'll go down to the approval of the bill payment from the period of 10/1 and 10/31.
I make a motion that we pay the bills from 10/1/2019, 10/31/2019.
Second motion.
Okay,
Oh, you did it already?
seconded.
Mr. Jefferson.
I hear it.
All right, we're going to the approval of the general council meeting September 9th.
I make a motion to, pass the minutes for, September 9th, 2019.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. All right, any old business? All right, then we're moving on to the new business. Ordinance need to be made for the amount of the time porta potties can be used as the bathroom.
They just did
that there. All right, and then, now, we'll go down to water users agreement and application changes requiring reconnection fees on all disconnection accounts from 25 to 50. So whatever y'all decide, that's what we do. Your reconnection fee. We're the only ones that ain't raised ours yet.
It's all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they have to go through a lot to get down in them holes. And some meters have so much mud and stuff down in there that they gotta dig all that mud out. And you can imagine in the wintertime, just to go in there and pull a meter, yeah. Show lane. But anyway, we are the only village and the only ones that have a low thing like that. It's been like that for years, so we have a right to raise it.
Y'all know the only village around the thing that really don't, the water ain't really
It's not
right.
open to the floor.
What's wrong with water?
Who made the
I ain't
motion?
making a motion yet.
We can move so we can get done.
I pay taxes.
Okay, but it's not open to the floor yet.
Who made the motion?
I'll make the motion.
Well, make it, go. We'll get out of here.
How they all make it too now?
But just make a motion so we can pass the thing on the thing here for $25, for the $50.
I'd like to make a motion to raise the reconnection fee from $25 to $50.
Yeah, I
Just make
second
a
it.
motion.
Can we quiet down, please, so everybody can hear what's going on up here, please?
So just make the motion, let us second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Now open to the floor.
Before it's open to the floor, I would like to say that I will be the new ordinance officer.
That position hasn't been appointed, can I have the floor? That position hasn't been appointed yet, even though it's on the agenda, it was never acted on.
Oh, well,
And-
we'll do
And
it
again, it was
next
not
time.
properly on the agenda, it said you need to be nominated and approved, not that you're going to be nominated and approved. So, my question, Zone 5, who's the trustee for Zone 5? And why don't the Zone 5 residents have representation on this board? How long
I'm
did it
zone
take?
5.
You're Zone 5?
And
They forgot to put your name on here.
he's six, but we all, we decided to all be
So
the zone
everybody,
officer.
you have the right amount of trustees appointed? 6 trustees and the mayor?
No, we have 5 trustees.
Well, one zone, or whoever, however you elected, is going unrepresented.
No, it ain't going unrepresented. It ain't going
No,
unrepresented.
We all have a part in the one that doesn't have one.
Okay. Next, I appreciate you saying the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and there's some people here that are squeaking,
Okay,
Yeah.
are gonna squeak.
okay.
And personally, before I get started on that,
Are we open to the floor?
you had some FOIA requests that were due today. One of them involved the name of the person owning the red Chevy pickup truck license plate number 2080298 that was parked in the shed the last time I was in town. At the city building, and it looked like a privately owned license plate vehicle sitting in that city building. I would like to know who owns that building, or that vehicle.
That's my pickup truck.
It's a Chevrolet, whatever it is.
That's my pickup truck. I'm working on it. That's my truck.
Well, you shouldn't work on it in the city building or park in the city building.
They ain't got it listed nowhere in the state of Illinois. but
Can
you
any Jim Bob use the building to work on their vehicle and store it in there?
If
No,
that truck is used for the village hall, it can, I'm pretty sure.
that's a privately owned vehicle, I'm sorry.
Yep. But it works for the village too.
And when I asked for all the applications of people that applied for water in the last 2 years, you left one of them out. I know he applied for water, I saw his application. And I saw somebody's initials on it, where they took a money order
I did.
or something.
And
then
your
returned it back.
request was not specific, so I sent you who got water. Your request said the people in the last 2 years who got water,
Who
not
requested-
who requested
who
water
requested
and
water.
didn't take water and wanted their money back, so I sent you what you asked for. Not call the police on that.
And there's I can call the police on nothing.
Okay.
And then there's another FOIA request due today, I believe, that is a copy of all denials that requests for water in the last 2 years, a copy of all refunds of connection fees in the past 6
Where'd
months.
they
And
Mr.
mine is-
Carmichael, he was refunded every dime that he brought up here. He was gave all this money back.
And
He,
which
he
leads,
took his money back. He asked for his money back, so he got his money back.
which leads me to the final question. What is it gonna take to get him connected to the
Well,
water and sewer?
Let me help you out.
Hold
Let me
on,
help you out.
hold on.
No, I'm gonna help you out.
Let me finish my question.
Let's see what he gonna say, 'cause he done took over anyway, let him see what he gonna say.
Passing ordinances about campers and porta potties and all that crap, why don't you give him water, tell him
Well,
what he needs to
no,
do.
like I said, let me help you out. Call his attorney, Rick Viticchio, he'll tell you what he told him. He cannot hook that RV to the city water and sewage. He was told that by his attorney.
Wasn't going to.
And then what he wanted to do, and he think he's slick. This ain't no bunch of dumb niggas up here, man.
Settle down. Settle
See,
down.
ain't a bunch of us dummies up here. Now, he wants to put water lines over there and don't want to do what nobody telling him to do. Don't want to do what he's supposed to do. He gonna bury all the water lines and put them in the ground. Then when somebody asks him to dig all the water lines up, he don't want to do it.
They're open.
The only.
Open
I
me.
got them all capped off, everything's capped off. except
But
the
I ain't
ones
seen them
that
capped off.
You have.
Come down here and take a look, you got a letter from the attorney.
Here's the deal, from day one, when they came,
The city has no right to tell anybody to dig up water lines. Your
Okay.
only function is to make sure there's a licensed plumber, make the physical connection to the meter. Anything on a private property side of the meter is no business of the city.
from day one, when Mr. Carmichael and his wife came, the first thing we told them was they could not live in the RV because this was not an RV park. And the first thing they told me was they paid over $100,000 for that and they gonna live in it whether they want to or not. When you go into a community, the first thing you do is go to the city hall and find out the rules and regulations, not come in and you make your regulations and rules. I'm talking, I let you speak, now I expect that same,
Go ahead.
okay, I expect that same respect. But if you can't do it, I understand that part too. Then, when he came up here and he brought his stuff up here to show them what was what, that is not the diagram they showed them. I passed through here 3 or 4 times, and before it was over with, he requested his money back. And I went and got his money
That's
back.
not what happened.
And
Now, this man stood up
I
right there
am
and
on the
said
floor
he was
still
not gonna
speaking,
connect it,
but
not
I
gonna
know
want
how
money
rude
back.
you can be. Anyway, they requested their money back, so I gave it back to him. Then all of a sudden, the next word out of his mouth was sue.
No,
No, it wasn't.
That was,
So that's all in the past. What's it gonna take to get hooked up?
he need to first of all abide by the rules, because one of the rules was he was first told he could not live in the RV, and he has done that since he came back to.
That has nothing to do with our water.
And
Our
what
RV
makes
is
you think that if
self-contained.
he can't abide by the one ordinance, he gonna abide by some other ordinance?
okay, can I have the floor now? Mr. Jefferson,
Yes, she wants to
you
say something.
asked me to go by the rules and go step by step. Did you
And we
not
did.
one day?
Yep.
I come up here, I got the paperwork for the deposit, I filled it all out, I brought a money order up here and proceeded
She
to hand it to
refused
this
to
lady
take it.
here, and she refused to take the deposit. I gotta get it voted on first.
And you
When
asked for
did
your
you
money back,
tell
and
me
you
That
got
is
it
This was
back.
prior to.
after.
And you got it back.
I was
Julie.
told that,
Exactly.
prior to.
Listen to the point. What's it gonna take? Do you have a checklist?
He won't come up and look at it.
He needs to, the people have to have water, just like they have to have electric, they have to have sewer, they have to have a building or something to live
And
in.
people also
They
have
have
to
to have
abide
water.
by the rules of the building.
Exactly.
That's right.
It's changing.
I agree by that.
You wanted to hook
Changing
up 2 or 3
ordinances after
places
things are happening.
No,
over there also.
No.
I don't have
all
the
the
other
people over
facilities there yet. I want a garage put out there, I'm gonna have to have a bathroom. I got a laundromat I'm gonna have to put in there because I don't have room in my house.
We have a small building to put the washer and dryer in. We want a water and a sewer.
I'm not putting a bunch
Well,
of
but
tiny
why are
cabins
you
out there and
living
hooking
in
them up
the
to
RV
people
though?
Wait
rent.
a minute, what'd you say?
You're living in that RV.
No, we're not. We're living in the cabin.
And your
We have
ordinance
gas
said,
sides.
your ordinance said you could stay in it for up to 30 days, and then you gotta get out for a day. And then you can come back for 30 days, and that's what was in the original ordinance.
They're living in the cabin. I was over there twice.
You let this man right down here live in his for over 6 months.
No, he didn't, no, he didn't.
No, he
Yeah,
didn't.
he
Charlie?
did. Yeah, he did. Charlie was in there for over 6 months.
You
He
got a
can't-
man over by your house living in one.
He
Yeah.
came up here and he did everything by paperwork, yes he did.
So what's it gonna take to connect the water and sewer?
Yeah, how many people stayed in that cabin? Did they tell y'all
That
that?
boy right there stays in it part-time.
Well, you just got through saying that y'all over there in the cabin.
No, we do not
I
live in
didn't
the
say
cabin.
that.
I said we live in the cabin.
Cabin.
What, so you got two of them over there now?
That you wanted to stop us from
Wait,
bringing
I
in.
can't hear.
What, you got two cabins over there now?
Just one.
What you just got through saying he in the cabin, and you just got through saying y'all in the cabin. I'll make you mad.
Is there a limit to the number of people that can live in a cabin?
Yes, it is.
But
It's-
the point is,
It's 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms.
what is it
A
gonna
kitchen
take
and a
to
living
hook up the water?
How you gonna get 2 bedrooms out of 16 by 40?
That's none of your business.
Oh, yes, it is, if I'm hooking water
That
up.
boy has a
Ain't got nothing to
bedroom.
do
We
with it.
have a bedroom. We have 2 bathrooms in that cabin, a kitchen and a living room.
How you gonna do that with a 16 by 40 building when I
done
still
it.
get through? What you done, you split it 8 foot down the center?
No. It's 48 feet long.
No, it ain't 40
60
feet, no,
It's
I said you
48
ain't talking
feet
no dummy now.
long.
It's a 16 by 40. It's a
No, it is
16 by
not.
40.
No, it is
16 by
not.
48.
They don't make them 48.
Yes, they do. We had it built. They make them 60 foot
Okay, well,
long.
whatever you gonna do with this, ain't
The
nobody
point
got
is-
time for all this, all right.
They're gonna have to have water, what's it gonna take, it's a simple question, who cares what happened 18 months ago or 2 months ago? What do they have to do to connect water? That's a question that needs an answer.
And we wanna be part of the community, so work with us.
Yeah, I'm gonna still say this here, and I ain't gonna change.
Why?
That building, you can't split that building and put
We
it on
didn't
3
split it.
Well, how is you living in it then? You
We
just
got
got through saying
everybody
he in
in.
it, then you said y'all over there in the cabin, but
Well-
I'm constantly seeing you coming out the RV.
Could I have the floor?
Oh, you can have it all day long. Come on with it.
Then shut up.
You need to get the.
We have a bedroom.
Hey, hold up. You don't tell the council to shut up.
Oh,
Ain't
no,
nobody
that's,
told you to
yeah,
shut up.
yeah.
Well, I asked for the floor.
No,
You don't tell,
no, don't tell them to shut up.
That's not nice.
Yeah, don't call nobody the N-word.
Regroup.
Don't tell them.
That's right. What y'all need to do to get your water cut on. We're
That's
gonna
right.
do it for a quick second, because this is ridiculous. We all have to live together, whether we like each other or not. We have to work as a community, or it's not gonna work.
That's
That's
right.
right.
He is the mayor, whether you guys like it or not, and we
That's
have
right.
to be respectful.
That's
towards
right.
each other.
So be
We
respectful.
have to lead by example, or nobody's ever gonna trust us with anything.
That's right.
Right.
Now,
But that cabin,
All right, you got the
secondly,
floor.
what do I need to do?
the cabin has 2 bedrooms.
Can she finish
What
talking?
do I need to do
No.
as a member of this village
No.
hall and as a person that's on this board to get sworn in? That's what I need to do.
Woo!
All we gotta do is put it on the agenda, nominate and vote.
But this is the thing.
She's asking us, you don't live out here, you don't know our rules and regulations.
I'm on
We
the
know
road
what
a
you
lot,
do.
but I'm here. So, and I'm here to help any way I can, but if we can't get along with each other, how do you think people outside of here look at us?
That's right, sister.
They look at us like we can't even get together in our own community, so why would they help us? When, if we just get along, even if we get along fakely in front of them, to make them give us what we need to get the things that we need out here. Because again, we cannot live the way we want to and get the grants and the funds that we need if they don't even be serious about this place. So what do I need to do to get sworn in?
First of all, you have to have a position where it requires for a 6th person, because we have thus found out you don't have to have 6 trustees.
Okay, so
That's
when
why
I
we
voted,
still at 5.
Got voted in, because I got voted in, I got my paperwork and everything.
I don't know.
So who does that?
Why didn't you bring it up here?
I've been here more than 6 months.
They have to elect you in and swear you in.
And multiple people already voted me in, so that's how I got, I wanted to
Yeah.
vote. So how do I get sworn in?
It has to be on agenda.
You're swearing right
How do we do
Secretary.
that?
No, it has to be on the agenda.
Not on the agenda.
right now, you're doing everything else.
My man went back there, he had a question.
We need to put it on the agenda for next time, first of all. And, is all your paperwork, done in Carlinville at the courthouse?
Yes.
Okay, well, we'll make preparations to vote you in.
Thank you
But
very
see,
much.
I did not know that.
It's my fault, because I've been working a lot.
Right.
But, I I'm
You should've
ready.
came up here to the village hall to let us know.
I know, but that's
That
why I'm
way,
giving you another call. So I was wondering, is there any way we can, you guys are open like a couple of days out the week?
3,
So it's just hard for me to get in.
Monday,
here when you guys
Wednesdays,
are
and
open.
Fridays.
But I'm definitely, I mean, I have to do this. This is something I need to do.
Right.
And I understand you guys talking about, raising the connection fee on the water, cause you're right. It does get difficult when you gotta dig down in that hole and dig out water.
And
So I
winter's
think about
coming.
that.
Just
You're
think
right,
about the
I've done it
ice.
myself. So I know that it does get a little bit difficult, especially if it's rainy and getting cold. $50 though, I don't.
Hey, a lot of places is 75 to 150.
Yeah.
I've checked.
I agree, I do agree.
I've checked.
You're right about
It can be
that.
So
hard.
we divorced fun, for real.
Now, my next
Yeah, 'cause
question
it'd
is,
be
when does it
I do
go up?
agree.
Is this immediately in effect?
Yeah, next month, well, this, after,
It's effective as of today.
oh, as of today.
It's effective as of today.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't say these things.
In total, yeah.
What
Back
day
it
is the
up,
water
put
bill
it
coming?
on the
15th,
board.
right?
No, it's gonna be the first through the 3rd, 5th of the month.
So we don't have to wait till the first, for it can be right today, so on the first, if it's not paid by the second day, then it's $50.
If it's not paid, by the time they read those meters,
Okay.
which is the 26th or the 27th, it all depends on what day it falls on. Then, if you don't have it paid by then you can look for a shut-off.
Okay, then you can still pay the bill and the disconnection online with the court money, right?
Right.
As long as you put an amount in, it won't tell you to put it in, but you just put it in.
Yeah.
So that guy was paid by like 9 o'clock in the morning on that particular morning, they're reading meters, right? They ain't coming up at 4 o'clock in the evening trying to beat the clock, you know.
Cause we close at 1
We gonna
o'clock.
hold there, he'll be here at 4 o'clock in the evening to pay this bill. I mean, if you give me some time to get there, now this is what's gonna be happening. It's
No,
always happened, it's happened in the past, I read water bills. Don't shut them off yet, they'll be in there by a certain time when it's.
we're not doing it.
This is what I mean, when them guys go around and they read them meters and it's shut off time right there. He gets a list out, and this is with the shut off crew, they shut them off right there.
David,
Ain't no driving.
what they do is, they read the meters on the 26th. Only if the 26th falls on a Sunday will they not read the meters. Then what they do is they bring the list back in. I give them to what I call Village Hall Business Day, 1 o'clock. Then when I give them the list, cause by then I've checked the bank for the last time, I've checked court money for the last time, and I've checked that box for the last time. If those 3 you miss and it's 101, you going off. That's how it works.
Basically, that would be right before the 23rd, really.
Well, you got till the 26th, it just depends on the 26th by 1 o'clock if you have not got it in, except on a Sunday. We don't read on a
With
Sunday.
us,
Go ahead.
You read it on the 26th, how long do you get to pay the water bill?
Go ahead. You don't get no time till they come back. Go ahead. Just depends on when they come.
Go ahead and say what you're gonna say.
Sometimes they come in.
okay.
Yeah, usually they come in.
Go ahead, speak and say what you're gonna say. They're quiet down.
I want everybody to hear what
Yeah,
I'm
no,
saying.
no,
They're
no,
talking,
no.
and I'm asking you to bring the room to order.
Now, go and speak.
All right.
Time.
My name is Kirk Allen. I'm the co-founder of the Edgar County Watchdogs. We're a nonprofit local government accountability organization, and we go all over the country helping people within communities, both elected officials and citizens, in local government issues. One of the things that brings us here tonight was we've been told in the past, and I'm glad it came up right up front, was you can't video record. And I'm not sure who may have ever told you that, or where you got the idea that you can't do that. But if you've taken the Open Meetings Act training as required, the statute is 5 ILCS 120-2.05. Recording meetings of the provisions under the section of this Code of Civil Procedure, any person may record the proceedings at meetings required to be opened by this act by tape, film, or other means. That's been a long-standing act. We have a right to record. There's no requirement to notify you.
I never said you couldn't.
I said there's no requirement to notify you. With, excuse me, ma'am, I have the floor. I can't hear you.
Go ahead.
Okay? With that, one of the the FOIAs that I requested was the compensation setting resolution. It's a resolution that has to be adopted 180 days or ordinance before your term of office begins. What I was sent were 2 copies of a 2013 ordinance. Can you tell me if there's a more current ordinance?
We'd have to ask her, because she was the
There is
clerk here
not.
before us.
Okay, if there is not a more current ordinance, this is your salary setting compensation for this term, y'all have expired out of that term. So if y'all are getting paid right now, you're doing it illegally because there's no ordinance authorizing such pay. And there's multiple statutes that cover that, including case law. You can't get paid if you don't have an ordinance 180 days before your term begins, period. That's both in the municipal code and the local government act code, and I'll be happy to give you copies of those if you like.
Yes, I like.
Yes, ma'am. Another question that I have in regards to that resolution, it outlines a controller position along with a water clerk, a treasurer, and it basically outlines, I'm under the impression from the resolution that your collector is performing all the other functions of treasurer, water clerk, and clerk. Is that correct?
They don't have
We don't have a controller anymore. That's why I say she should have had something in that book, because her pay even got raised at the last time when, before she left, office.
The only
And that's
thing
what
that
we've
says
been
it is
looking
not
for.
finance clerk.
Okay.
But she was getting
Do you have a
comptroller's pay.
clerk now?
Yes,
Is that you?
yes.
Okay. Do you have any other duties they've assigned to you? As far as a water clerk or treasurer?
Oh, no, no,
Okay.
no, no.
Okay, and again, I'm going back off of 2013, so forgive me.
Right.
This is old and outdated, and
Yes.
it's completely inaccurate to how
Yes.
the law
Yes,
should
it
be
is,
applied.
and that's all I had to send.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
all we had.
Well, I would ask that if you guys, and it's unfortunate, but if you are getting paid, you gotta stop, because that's an actionable thing that citizens can do to recover that money, because there's been no compensation setting resolution for that act to happen.
Okay.
The last thing I want to address, and I appreciate the first gentleman that spoke because he talked about that program for all. We stood here as a veteran, we stood here and we said the Pledge of Allegiance. I thank you for that, because I go to a lot of communities, they don't even have a flag. And I appreciate you having one here. What's the last 3 words of that pledge that we stand and we take?
Justice for
Justice for all.
Justice for all. That justice for all knows no personalities.
That's right.
It knows no personal biases, it knows nothing, it's justice for all. And no matter how hard it is, no matter what your controversies may be, there's steps to be taken for compliance when a person violates an ordinance. If you don't mow the grass, you got a policy. If you don't do this, you got a policy. But you can't take all of those different ones and say, well, we're not gonna let you have this because you violated the others. That's not how our justice system works. You've got a family that's wanting to get water, make a checklist. Here's what you gotta do, period. Now, I went out and I witnessed the lines are capped, all the other ancillary places that he had before, they're capped. The sewer connections are capped. They need water and sewer. We're coming up on winter time. Now, for what it's worth, look at the military history. He's a 100% disabled combat veteran from 2 wars. I don't think it's asking too much to take a step to see what it takes to get water and make him comply with that. That's all you gotta do. It's that simple. Then you don't have to worry about other ordinances of, nobody should have to go get a porta potty. They shouldn't have to do that. And for what it's worth, that's just my opinion. I know everybody's got one. Mayor, you got a gavel there. Control your meeting. You tell folks when they can speak, when they can't, no interruptions. It works great. And you know, a good dialogue like this always works and it always solves the problem. And I appreciate you giving us the floor, unlimited like this, to be able to address that. That means a lot, because a lot of places say, you got 2 minutes, that's it. And I thank you for the openness, because it does mean a lot. Solve the problems. I think the gal here, if she was elected, y'all don't get to vote on nothing. She's elected. Seriously, I mean, that's the law. If she was elected, the clerk can swear her in right now. She has that power to do that right now. And I would urge that that happen tonight.
Now you said, see, I'm gonna go back to this over here. Now you say he got them capped off, right?
Yes.
Now you seen them all these capped off?
Yes, sir. I've got photos of them.
And they're not.
You're welcome to come down and look at it.
Yeah, Now, when he hooked that water up now, cause see, I ain't hooking it up.
You can't.
I'm gonna let you know that right now. I ain't hooking it up, cause see, he'll tell you one thing now, and fast as y'all two leave here, he gonna do what he want.
Well, that's.
That's the reason the attorneys ain't fooling with it. That's why Brent King left the case alone. Then he went down here to slow Rick Viticchio and he took up the case. I met him in Walmart,
And
talking to
that's
smack.
why it's important to have a licensed inspector
Yeah.
that makes that connection.
That's right.
He can make that determination if something's not being done right.
But he had a guy over there was doing all the digging all over there in the yard, and we asked for the man's information. They act like they couldn't get the man's information out. He claimed he worked for Julie. Like I said, I'll take you all the way down to the actual detail of it.
Oh, I'm not questioning what may or may not have happened in the past. All I know is we have a family.
Because like I said, you got to watch them two now. Well, they'll say one thing, they'll go behind your back. I'm just going to put it out here on the table.
In all fairness, Mayor, you said that this situation brought us here. That's not true. You may recall not too long ago, I believe in 2017, y'all had a sign on the door that said no more FOIA requests till further notice.
Yep, no information at all.
Yeah, we were the ones that brought a lawsuit against the community over that. We didn't know these folks. This ain't our first rodeo either. All we're asking is compliance with the law. Let them know what it takes to get the water. That's a civil right.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking.
See, did you understand what they were saying?
I wanna cover
They
this whole
said
up.
they said their son gonna be in the house with them. They said they should divide the house. Did you understand
My
that?
son can live in the house with us.
I've been in the house. I've been in the house. There's actually one bedroom on one end and more than enough for a bedroom on the other end.
There is a bedroom on the
Yeah,
other.
and there's a doorway going between them.
So I'm not
For
sure.
privacy.
And in that regard,
It's not around.
we as elected officials, we don't have the right to tell someone how many people can live in their house. We don't have that right.
Unless you got children.
I mean, if that's somewhere in the municipal code, I'm missing it, but we don't have the right to tell someone they can or can't have someone even sleeping on their couch. And I don't think that's right. I think, in a big picture, to take that position puts you in a position of a legal liability. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't encourage that. I would encourage everybody to come together and solve the solution, put all the animosity aside and fix the problem. Winter's coming. Nobody should go have to, you know what? Nobody should have to go sit in a porta potty in the wintertime, let alone in the other time. Thank you.
And that's true too. That's true too. But that,
Can we get a vote if you're gonna put our water in or not?
Not on the agenda.
Not on the agenda.
She's got
Well,
her
let me
hand.
ask you
Hey,
this.
she got her hand.
I wanted to address the mold that you discussed. If it has not been tested, you were saying you're gonna have it tested and stuff. Every 3 months, that building is opened to the public for the pantry, and has been for quite a few years. So if you're gonna pay money to have someone test that, you're still letting people in there, you know, and we're not all itching when we go in there for the food pantry. And I was just wondering how come we could all go in there for the food pantry if there was a concern that there was a dangerous mold?
When we weren't in the, when you were in there, you're in that big open area.
Yeah,
And most of the time you have that door open. We went inside the first door.
Yeah.
And we were in that little narrow hallway.
Yeah.
Where where all the chiggers are at.
What?
The chiggers are in there.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's why you're
Maybe-
itchy.
Okay.
The other
And-
question I had was the dredging of the lake, and you said that you were told there was no funding for that. The only reason why the dredging of the lake keeps getting brought up at our meetings is because our mayor said that he had talked to someone who said that they were going to dredge the lake.
his
so
name
that
was
they could-
Blake.
Right, so that they could have soil and share soil with the community. It had nothing to do with funding or anything, so I was just questioning that. That's the only questions I had. I did have people
His
that
name
were
is
at,
Blake from the Natural Resource.
I had people that, you know, right there at the little lake where there's that road by my house, it's not a road, it's just grass. Someone was parked there today with 3 gentlemen. They went into those woods with machetes. And do you know that property belongs to someone that lives in, I went out to my garden because I didn't know what the heck they were doing. I don't want no one to machete me, you know. So I went out in my garden to see if I could see what they were doing, but they went into those woods with machetes, and I don't know who they were, I've never seen them in the community. And I guess I should have took a picture of their car and their license
Should have
plate.
called the police.
There was 3 men that went in there, and they came out and got in their car and left. And I just wanted to let you know that happened.
You do have,
Marijuana.
you do have some property, you got some property back there.
Well, that's right there at the lake, that property belongs to people that live in Glen Carbon, because they come up and mow that lawn there all the time, and I talk to them.
You should have called the police, that's what you should
Yeah,
have
but it
done.
was right there at my house.
Even more reason to call.
Because I even looked over to see if maybe you were outside or something, because I was nervous about walking out, and I didn't want to walk into their car, so I just went to my garden and started acting like I was picking stuff and stuff, so I could see what was going on, because, you know, I got kids and stuff, and
Yeah.
that was
Unless they
awfully close
fish.
to my house for people I didn't know yet, and woods that I know don't belong to them. And
911.
somebody said marijuana, you can't grow marijuana in the middle of the woods, you have to have open sunlight to do that. So, I don't know what they were doing there, but I was just
See, if you
informed
should have
that
called
that
the
was going
police.
on, that was going
I
on.
should have called.
Yeah, they would have been gone before any police get here. At least don't.
I have just 2 questions. Will you come down and look at these lines that are capped off? I'd like to get them covered up. I got holes out there in my yard, I'd like to get them covered up. And 2, will you accept my deposit to get the water and sewer connected? You gotta tell her, she won't take it unless you give permission.
I don't run the water board. I don't have nothing to do with the water board.
Well, she said the committee had to vote on it.
The trustees and all them, that do that, they handle all that. All of them handle
Okay,
that.
so what do
Will
we
the
have to
committee
do to
vote
ask them?
to take my deposit?
The alderman handles
Trustees will get
that.
together. Not on the agenda today.
No, they,
I got one thing, because everybody would say you have to talk about, how gonna have nothing to do with water? That's the water person.
I know,
Right,
but
but
He can't give her permission, she elected.
she told me she wouldn't take my deposit unless.
Because the
she-
trustees did not tell, see, he never tells the
Trustees,
whole
but-
truth.
But she, that's her, you know.
I like it.
I say something?
What position?
Okay,
Wait a
so.
minute.
I'm treasurer,
She's the treasurer.
treasurer and the water clerk.
A committee of the city council has no authority to make any decisions, and you can't grant them any authority to make any decisions. They can decide what to bring to the council, for the council to make a decision, but a committee has no power, period, other than what they bring to the city council to vote on. So saying you're gonna bring it to the water committee doesn't work, because they can't vote on it.
The council is the water committee.
there is a water committee.
So then the council votes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So why would that bring it to the committee if the committee's council? You confused me with that conversation. That's the reason why, never mind.
And forgive my confusion, Mayor, you're the elected treasurer, but you're also the water.
She's not elected, because they don't put treasurer up for election, but she is also the water.
And the secretary.
She just said she was the treasurer.
I am the treasurer and the, water clerk. And I was put in because she walked off.
Mayor, this is one of those local government things that we're really good at. 65 ILCS 5/3.1-15-15, holding other offices. A mayor, president, alderman, trustee, clerk, or treasurer shall not hold any other office in the municipal government during the term of that office. Now, how do you hold an office of water or whatever that title is, water clerk, when the law says you can't hold no other office? These are the type of things that we see, and I understand, we've always done it that way. Nobody's ever raised a concern, but we're back to, we need a designated person that's gonna accept that money for people's deposit without criteria. The deposit comes in, if that deposit meets the guidelines of your ordinance, you can't say no, and you can't refuse their deposit.
I'm only doing what the trustees asked me. Now, if you don't like that, you need to talk to them, because that's how I was told I'm supposed to do it.
And they pointed.
And I'm not arguing.
And they're all
Yep,
pointing to you.
they sure
So there's a
did.
conflict here somewhere, please, let's fix it. I don't wanna come back, I really don't.
Well, you might have to, because a lot of this been going on for umpteen years.
When I was the clerk, I did not hold a title of treasurer, just so you know. I, at all points and all times, just like I told the clerk now, when I talked to her today, at no point did I ever accept being treasurer, and at all times always stated, I am not your treasurer. I am not comfortable being your treasurer. I did a treasury report once a month just because there was so much theft before I got here that I wanted the community to know how much money was coming in and how much was going out and where it was going. That's the only reason I even did that. I was never the treasurer.
So, how did you get comptroller's pay?
Huh?
How did you get comptroller's pay?
I did, they
Yeah, I
didn't
wrote
know.
your very first,
I can-
when you
I
left, I
got
wrote
paid,
that
I got
check.
paid as water clerk and
I just want my water
the,
and
city
sewer.
clerk, that was it.
Oh, then you still had
That's all
two
I want.
positions.
But you
Yes,
got
yes, I
paid
did.
for all
Come
of
on.
them.
Go
No, I
ahead.
didn't. It says right in the ordinance, I was paid as head clerk. That's what it says.
If I may,
It's
comptroller, another
$500 for
term is
that.
collector, and there's two provisions in the municipal code, 65 ILCS 31.1-30-15, clerk as collector. If in any municipality a collector is appointed, the corporate authorities may provide by ordinance that the clerk shall hold the office of collector. And under this ordinance, that's what it basically says was going on. And there's another provision for the clerk to be the collector. So, so there is a provision for it. And just so I don't forget to give you these, everything on the clerk issue.
See, they've been doing that crap
This is
for
on the
years.
compilation.
Years.
I think y'all put the blame on somebody else.
Been going on for
Ain't
years.
nobody showing my no blame.
Am I lying, Nita? Am I
Right
lying?
on, boy, I really
Look,
couldn't
Mike
talk.
Steinbeck, the reason why you think I was paid for all them jobs is because somebody else had the dual titles that was paid for all those jobs. But I didn't have those titles when I got paid.
At that time, I know it was
And I was paid under ordinance as the clerk and collector. They changed where it
I'd love
said
to put all this
controller
behind
to
me. Start
collector
over fresh.
because it wasn't a legal terminology. So whenever we changed the terminology to collector because I collected the money for water bills.
Hey, did you have something, Lena?
Only thing I have
I've got
is,
another question.
the young lady, I don't know where she.
I'm gonna hook up another
Hang
water.
on,
and sewer.
lady back here is back to look.
But I used to be the clerk, and I never got any kind of reports that she was elected or voted in as trustee.
Her name was on the ballot. She was independent, because I was at
She never gave me any information that she was anything, any kind of trustee or anything.
I can't say that, but I know I was the election judge and she ran independent.
She got it.
When they put it out, I'm trying to think of how many people, because you look it up, who was elected. I remember those guys, I don't remember.
People
Yeah,
even look it
up,
up.
you gotta get a certificate of election results from the county clerk. Yeah, when they ran, I don't remember seeing that, because I remember looking it up to see who won, and, I knew these guys, I don't remember anybody.
She can get sworn in by anybody authorized.
But what I'm saying is, I don't remember seeing anybody else, I remember seeing these guys. But I don't remember seeing anybody.
Might have been different elections.
No, it's just like.
No, just
We only had
the last
one.
election, I was
It was every 2 years.
Yeah, I know, the last election I looked up, because I
I
knew
mean,
people
as a
running.
write-in, she was a write-in.
Yeah, she did.
She was a write-in, take that back, she was a write-in.
Yeah, because she had, asked me, when was the deadline, and I called Pete, and she got it in there just before the deadline.
Well, all you guys gotta do.
Well, you just got to check into it. All you gotta do is check into
No,
it.
it was that minute.
Just check into it.
Because I don't remember seeing it, but that could be wrong, but I don't remember seeing it.
Just check into it and see.
For her to get this position, she at least 10 days.
I don't know.
Because I just talked to
She was write-in.
She was right.
Do I have to sign something to bring this up for a vote next month for water and sewer? Does it have to be voted on the committee to bring it in for next month, to be voted for sewer and water?
That'll be a decision they make.
That's what I'm saying, but do I need to put my name on it, the docket? Or what is it called?
So you can answer him.
Is she gonna come and look at it?
Did anybody else have to get a vote, is my
Me, who?
question?
Who?
Those 4 applications that got in the mail, were they brought to the city council and voted on whether you get them water or not?
And they did everything themselves.
Did they get voted on by the city council? Why you treating it different? You don't have to answer it.
Look in the water.
Go ahead, proceed.
I want to say this is to our mayor. I am very tired of you using the N-word. You also had called one of your trustees And tonight, you address the people here using the N-words and that they must think y'all are all stupid ends. For you to be a mayor, cause how you representing me too, you need to get off of that. And who is y'all FOIA officer here? The FOIA officer, who is it? That's why I'm asking them there.
The clerk have always did it. Why?
Somebody answer.
And I also want to say, y'all don't know who y'all messing with. These people have won cases on these foyers in Carlinville, putting out money to them for foyers they did not give them.
Yeah, they spent $95,000.
Yeah, I'm
So
already.
y'all need to know
told
this.
about it.
So you need to get your stuff together, because you can be sued for not giving FOIA Act information request out.
We know that, but if you don't have what they're looking for, then
Then you answer and say you don't have it.
Yeah, Mayor,
Right.
in regards to the FOIA officer, in the FOIA statute, it outlines that the body, the governing body, is required to appoint a FOIA officer. Has to be an employee or an official of the governing body. That's an appointment you are obligated to do. If you haven't done that, then you don't have a FOIA officer.
Do you have a second on time?
It's a test you take on the computer.
I'll be for your office.
You have to be an employee.
Well, it was the clerk, but we just changed clerks within the last couple of weeks.
That new email.
It's okay, we can learn.
That VC job.
I don't know, that's hers, you have to ask her.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
When all these lots and stuff gets mowed and all this work gets done around the village, a couple of months ago, somebody asked if they could bid on mowing the grass, and no bid was put up. Why?
You talking about with Blake? We just signed that contract and sent it back to him. He cuts
No,
it
but
for
somebody
hay.
else wanted to bid on it in the village.
Well, I didn't even know if his was even in the customer out there.
He cuts it per day,
Yeah.
is he paying you, the village? He needs to pay the village.
He cuts it for his livestock.
Exactly. How much that costs if he doesn't cut yours? It's gonna cost him money. He needs to pay the village some money for that.
Like selling corn beans, selling hay.
See, there's more money coming in.
Yeah, if you want more money coming in, that's the way to do it.
like, you want to say something?
I would like to say, to defend myself, I've had this position for a month. I've had 2 foyers, and for both of them, I have filled them out and sent them to whoever. I know nothing about a red truck. I have not got a FOIA for that. And the other one you talked about, I don't remember what it was. I got the one for
Well, I know who owns the red truck now, you don't have to answer that.
well, I couldn't answer for you no way, because I didn't get that. I'm just telling you, the ones I got were the information about, the pay, and, the other one before that. I think I sent it to you.
Yeah, you answered, I think either one or two of mine, or you answered one of his.
Yeah, those are the only ones I know anything about.
Right, I could set it again.
So, and I don't know if I'm supposed to be the
For
FOIA officer or
Did
what?
you take the test?
They just
You
give
go
it to-
online and take the test and you can be the.
She took it.
I don't wanna be it if I'm not supposed to be it.
Well, then it's okay for you to be the.
I don't care, I don't wanna be it.
Okay.
I don't wanna be it, I'm just saying.
Thank you, guys. Have you submitted your annual financial report to the comptroller the last 3 years?
No,
Ain't heard nothing from nobody.
I have a
it hasn't been
question.
submitted since
The people that read
2013.
the meter, do they get paid for reading the meter?
Yes.
Who reads it?
I don't
If
know.
I was reading it, I'd wanna get paid.
I don't get a dime to read no water meter, I don't get a dime to do no extra work out here. If that's what you worried about, then that's
No,
what
I'm
you
just
hitting around.
asking, because
I
when
get
the meter goes
$150
around-
a month, and that's it.
Right.
There's no more.
There you go.
Don Tandy is.
I don't get a dime.
Don, okay, I just wanted to ask. Don.
He got a lot of meters to read all by himself, doesn't he?
Well, the mayor helps.
No, I rise
He
with
doesn't
it.
do it by
The mayor
himself,
helps
he gets
on
it.
I rise with it.
But everybody doesn't get paid for it.
I don't get a dime for it.
He does, he only gets paid.
I sure wish I had one you could read.
Get a dime.
Yeah, cause I'm gonna put another sewer water line past that trailer.
More money coming in every month.
He's not listening.
He can either pay you guys every month, or he can pay the people in the next town when he goes to pick up water and bring it by.
Yeah, one more, Mayor.
I don't think it has to be voted.
I'm a business owner and I just, got a brand new building delivered down my way. And, my husband and I, we need a dead end sign down there. Because if somebody come down there not knowing that there's not a road to go through there, it's gonna be a real problem for the village. Because Holly Street does not belong to us, I've addressed this before. And when we walk out our door, where the end of the road is at, we have a puddle. We cannot even get out of our driveway because there's so much water standing there because there's no cover there. We've addressed that and no one, I mean, you know, and I'm getting ready to have, customers. So I don't want my brand new building all messed up and I'm just saying I need a dead end sign, that's the main thing, and some reflectors or whatever you have to do. Because again, if somebody come down there that does not realize that that's a dead end, and they keep on going, that's gonna be on y'all. That's all I'm asking, respectfully.
That's what I was telling you about the guardrails. Yeah, I already talked with her. Like I told you, you need to put some kind of guardrail down there. It ain't just only there, you need one down here on Laura too.
So
Need
what
a
about
guardrail going
the covers?
down here.
What about the covers? Because, so many feet from the road, from our house is not, that does not belong to Ordinance. So what about the covers? The only thing we do is need one to let that water run on down out our driveway onto the lake or wherever it's gonna go. That's ridiculous. We've been like out, I've been there 17 years.
And no code.
The board,
And no
the board
cover.
has to okay that, Cookie. They already, I said the board has to okay that. But they already okayed the other two, so if you're having a problem, they.
So the boy got to okay the cover.
Because they have to pay money for it, so they have to pay money.
Okay.
Them two spots, you need something, you need a reflector in them two spots, baby.
I want my complaint about the mayor using the N-word and meetings put on file here too. I want that to be on the file here, on the record.
Oh, it's on record, but hey.
Well, I want the village to make sure they have it, that official complaint, that I want, that the clerk needs to put it on in record that
Can you
I
write
made
your,
that complaint.
you will write a complaint, you wanna write a complaint?
No,
Is
I
that
want
what
you
you're
to have,
saying?
making that request for you to put it in your file
She's
tonight.
giving you a verbal complaint.
To put that, I want it on record.
In the meeting minutes.
Okay, in the minutes,
minutes,
okay, okay,
That this is the second time the mayor has used the N-word
okay.
in a meeting.
It will be put on record.
Okay,
It needs to be censored.
so I never did ever get an answer if y'all can accept my deposit for the water and sewer, and if you're gonna come down and take a look at the lines so I can keep them holes covered up.
How many holes you gotta do?
There's 4 of them out there that have to be capped, they're capped, they need to be covered up.
Did you not get the letter
What letter?
from the lawyer?
Yeah,
But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Would you come down and look at them, so I can cover them up, and then we can get the deposit, please?
Hold there, magic word.
But this, now,
I'll go with you.
look, this, I ain't, I'm gonna say it like this, and I don't care who in here.
You what?
I'm gonna say this here, and I don't care who in here. Yeah, I'm gonna come over there, but I know one thing, and I'm gonna say it better in front of them too. Cause I ain't scared to say what I got to say. Cause the first time I see water coming out of one, I'm taking that beat out, watch me.
So you're
Now, if you don't believe me, check me wrong. Now, let's like I said, the first time water come out of one of them holes, and I see another building hooked up to it, I'm taking the meat out. I'm letting you know now while it's on tape.
See, this the
Now,
reason,
watch me.
this the reason why he's saying that.
Watch me.
You're the reason why he's saying that.
I know what you
I
are.
know, I've seen that.
I know what you are.
But the thing is this, he's got other buildings.
That ain't there yet.
Okay, but what he's saying, if there's other buildings.
Hey, we need y'all to.
All right, order. So they can say what they got to say.
Okay, that's what he's trying to show. There's other buildings that's in his projected schedule, a projected project.
That's our cabin that we live in.
This is their cabin right here.
Yeah.
And he got a wash house.
Got a little building.
That's projected, that's in the future, that's a future item.
Yeah.
That he said is the future, he got a,
3-bay garage.
You gotta have a washer dryer.
he got a pool
Pole
burn,
That's to put the camper under.
camper equipment. He got a 3-bay garage. He got a she shed hot tub. And he got a wash house.
Yeah, the
Those
portion.
are all the projected. Okay,
Well, I gotta put toilets in them,
right.
because we both have a problem.
Everybody can't talk at once, 'cause I can't hear everybody. Thank you.
Hey, that's the mayor's job.
Well, somebody gotta do it.
Right.
Okay, what I'm saying is, if the ordinance for our village, one water line for each property or project, because I want to do the same, something similar. I want to build an apartment. I want to build a, what is that?
Duplex.
A
So
motel,
you're saying there's one water meter per dwelling.
exactly.
A wash house and a jacuzzi room is not a dwelling.
Well, okay, so that's not a dwelling.
No.
Okay, so that means I can
Dwelling's
build,
something you live in.
okay, that means I can build a motel out here.
No, that would be a dwelling.
That's a dwelling.
That's a dwelling.
People
If
stay.
you're gonna live
You're
in
gonna build 12 garages out there.
Okay, what about if I build
a garage.
suppose I build supposedly I build a cabin. I build like at the, what is that place, in Grafton? I have a bunch of little cabins,
Villages, yeah, like a village.
a bunch of little cabins set. I have one main, house for, would that be legal? Do I have to hook up water to,
If people are living in it, I would personally consider that a dwelling.
Yeah, you have to have a meter.
okay, it's not, say it's not living in,
It says one water meter per dwelling, that's the way it's gotta be.
okay, if
But
they
I could
just,
have 25 pole barns out there with nobody living in them and hook water up to all of them on 1 meter.
Right,
That's
so
the
if
other
you need to
thing.
feed your cattle or something, an animal that you have in that, like if I wanted to run water out to my chicken house so that I don't have to carry a hose,
right,
I should be able to do that, because it's my property, I should be able to run
You can.
water to there, and I should be able to, because I don't live in my chicken house, but my chickens do, and it's my water.
okay, so if I wanted to, I could have a bunch of little cabins that I can rent out to people,
Those are dwellings.
okay? I'm not talking about they stay, I'm talking about like an overnight,
Still a
That's
dwelling.
still a dwelling.
still a dwelling, okay, so,
That would be the same thing as a hotel or the same thing as an RV park.
Be living in it.
But the village could make an exception for situations like an RV park or a bunch of cabins with overnight stays if they brought it to the board and did that.
And see, Mayor, I don't plan to uncap or do anything with these outside extensions that are there until I get my garage built. Then I'll uncap it and hook my toilet up. When I get my laundry room with the drainage and all that and run water from a washer and dryer. That's the only thing I was doing, pre-planning. I am not gonna have any other dwellings but the one I've got.
no other dwelling.
But now later, we wanna go down the other end and put a
We'll
house
run a
for our
separate water
dog.
line and sewer line for that.
And
And
we'll
I'm
run a
gonna talk to you
separate
about that. I wanna do that as well. And so when we go to hook up ours, I wanna tap on for the other water and sewer.
That would be a separate
That's
measure.
two.
That'll be a separate
Two.
meter.
That's
Be a
48.
separate line.
Yeah.
Huh?
Got to be a separate line.
Yeah, it is.
But that's
But that's
$4,800.
That's $4,800 coming into here and $1,200 a year off of the 2 meters.
Okay, now, you just said you're gonna have 2 bedrooms in that shed, didn't you?
You what?
And now, didn't you just say you're gonna have 2 bedrooms in that shed?
In my cabin, I do have 2 bathrooms.
I did, like I said, I listened very closely. So,
What's
how is
that?
you gonna run?
It's one cabin.
So I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. See, 'cause I like to make everything clear too.
There's only one
See,
mailbox there.
Now, you got 2 of them things there, so what this man gonna tell you, he gonna tell us how to make our rules and regulations, right?
Nope.
You gonna have 2 separate sewage lines running out of there, like it's supposed to be.
That's our house.
That's the way it did over at that senior building. Everything from the buildings over there got their own separate sewage lines coming out of there.
except us and our son.
I can't help what you're saying.
Our home has 2 bedrooms and we have 1 sewer line, that's how
And you
old
have 2
it is.
bathrooms.
You ain't finna live at one end of the house and somebody at the other end of the house either. That's what they talking
The
about.
water and sewer is per, the water and sewer is
See,
per
that's what
well.
they trying to tell y'all and explain to y'all, and it's going over everybody's head. They gonna be living in that with them. So now one of his sewage line get clogged up, then what the sewage gonna go then?
So it's all one sewer is what they're saying, like my house has 2 bathrooms.
I understand well what
And I
you're
have
saying.
4 people.
I understand what you,
house.
I understand what you're saying.
Their
They
home
done
is-
took
they
that
are
building
able
and
to
they
have
done made a
a
2-family flat out of it.
You talking about,
Their home
I
is
see what you're
able to
saying.
have 2
If it's a
bedrooms.
if it's a
It is
2-family.
2 bedrooms.
Dwelling.
That's how
If
they
it's a,
sorted it out,
So
they
what
got
you're
2
saying is you
mailboxes.
think it's an apartment.
There's only one.
That's one building.
There's only one mailbox.
That's what they gonna turn it into.
That's all it's gonna be.
That's one building, there's no difference in bringing in a triple wide trailer is not 3 separate trailers.
We'll be shutting it off.
It's one building.
Just like I said,
When they bolt
yeah,
together.
we'll be over there.
And it's not somebody that's renting, it's our son.
It's a 2-bedroom
Mayor, is the concern what may happen in the future, that's why you're not connecting them?
No, I ain't worried about that. I know what I'm dealing with.
Okay.
Basically, what started out, they had 2 mailboxes over there.
There's
And
one.
when the thing, I'm talking to him.
He said started out.
They had
so
2
that's-
mailboxes over there. Now, they may be down to 1, but they had 2 addresses over there.
We
How
did.
many dwellings?
And they had 2, cause they were in the RV, and they had brought the little mini house in there.
Now we're
And
gonna-
I think that's what he's talking about, what they were doing. That's how come we are so skeptical of them, because they keep doing stuff
So you'll,
and turn it, I'm talking to him.
okay, go ahead.
And when they come up here or they call somebody in, all of a sudden the whole thing changes, the whole scenario changes. But right now, all I want them to do is adjourn the meeting. I'm hungry, I'm ready to go home.
So you'll take a deposit?
Yeah, he said he was taking the deposit, he was all good.
He didn't say he would take the deposit, he said they go in there and do an
And
inspection.
when it checks out, then he'll get the money.
Yes, and when the mayor said, you need to take one of the mailboxes out, I took it out.
I didn't say you did or you didn't, I was talking to him and I said 2,
You
and
asked me
y'all
to take
had 2
one
of
of the
them up
mailboxes
there.
out, I took it
I
out.
ain't
Carmichael, stop sitting there. Don't stop telling folks what I've been and said. I ain't told you to take no mailbox out now. Stop thinking I'm a dummy. I ain't told you to take no mailbox out. Man, let's go home, y'all. Before I see something like that. Let's go to the house. Let's make a
Is that a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn. I'm trying to tell folks something when I'm doing.
But Jesse, can you second your
Are you gonna come